They returned 4 starters and 11 letter winners. Yet and still, it's 4 points at halftime up in Boulder last year, and even at some point early in the second half, we're hanging around. And then, obviously all the wheels fell off, and Colorado, ran us out of the gym. That program has been a perennial NCAA tournament program. I think if you ask most people out in the Pac-12 to put you the top 6 programs out there, Colorado probably gets there. They were supposed to go dancing last year, but for one reason or another, they didn't have the kind of year that I think they were expected to have or hoping to have. So they returned a lot of guys. They've got a few new pieces in the backcourt, and they start last Friday against Iowa State. And Iowa State limited them to 6 second chance points and 5 fast break points. And so for us, our transition defense was improved against UAB, yet and still they got 17 points on the fast break. And if we allow Colorado to be able to do that and run, in addition to UAB got 14 offensive rebounds, Colorado didn't get that many offensive rebounds against us in Boulder because they shot 60%, so there weren't that many to be had. It'll be tough. It'll obviously be tough. But it's a great opportunity for our program, from our team. One of the things I do appreciate, from the media and particularly some of the national media, they have looked at our schedule, they've recognized it, and they've said, "What in the world are you doing?" In the sense that there just isn't much, there's not much room for error. And so if you're trying to be relevant, you want to try to schedule relevant. You want to try to draw and be relevant. You're going to try to recruit and be relevant. You hope to coach and be relevant. You hope to play and be relevant. And that's why you play. That's why you play these games. So it's just a really good opportunity for us. And once again, I think the fact that in our last 2 contests, we beat a Division II club, Indianapolis, in overtime, and we beat UAB, a team that did go to the tournament last year and is picked to win their league by 1 on the last possession game. We're getting exposed, but we are competing. And so this is going to be another great test.
Rich, what did you see when you went back and watched that UAB win? What did you see from your team that you liked? Maybe some things that you guys had to improve on.
I thought that when we ran our stuff, we were really effective, and that's, I think, why we got off to such a really good start. We led 30-16 at one point, and that's a great start for a team with only 4 scholarship guys back, playing a team that had everybody back. And that really served us well, the fact that we hit them in the mouth early and hung on. We tired in the last 3 or 4 minutes of each half. Part of that was TJ Dunnins and Kareem Candy playing 34 and 35 minutes. Not the way I like to play things, as you guys know. 30, 32 minutes is about as much as most of our guys get. But when there's no Taj Samsudeen, and you got Zach playing walk-on point guard playing 10 minutes, no Bryce Brown, no Williams, no Denzel Purifoy. We had some challenges in the backcourt depth-wise. And TJ Lang was in foul trouble all night long. I think that perhaps led to some of our fatigue late in each quarter, and we got to again continue to see about getting ourselves in better shape and more mentally tough.
Bruce, what's the update on New and Taj, I guess, heading into this week?
New's still out, and Taj is getting closer. He's getting closer. So, but New's definitely out.
Anybody else?
Bruce, how are you coaching a little bit different in practice with the new emphasis on fouls? You got guys getting into foul trouble a little bit. They even said, "Hey, we got to learn how to play with this type of new emphasis."
Yeah, part of our game plan almost every day is guard without fouling, and it's an emphasis. We didn't press UAB much, And we may not press Colorado as much as we typically have pressed, because it's just, if they see you holding it all away from the ball, they're just gonna call it. And we had officials in our preseason practices 3 or 4 times, probably a couple times more than we normally would, just to make that be a point of emphasis. And I think I think some of the, like, one of the things they talk about is freedom of movement. And so there are some things that, for example, on pin downs and floppy, you would typically, the guards on the bottom would typically hold on to their spot and sort of force the guard to go the way you want him to go. In other words, he can go either way off the floppy. But if you get on one side of him and tell him you're going to go that way, they would typically let you do it. And I would say they've been letting you do it for since ever they've been doing double pin downs and running floppy. Now all of a sudden, if you at all prevent that guy from going in the direction he wants to go, it's a foul automatically. That's a real departure from where they've been. I say my guy's got a chance to, he got the right to stand where he's standing. And if that guy wants to go the other way, he got to go around me. He can't go through me. I can't hold him. So it's little things like that that you got to pick up on how they're calling. Like when you're guarding a pro cut. Pro cut is where they take 2 bigs across the foul line and they bring that guy over, another guard under. That would be, at least I call it a pro cut. You typically could get in that guy's hip pocket and kind of, ride him through. You let him go where he wants to go, but you're tagging him. You're right on him. Boy, if you even put your hands anywhere near him, they look at that as impeding his progress, and it's a lack of freedom of movement. That's where TJ Lang got in trouble. So we're just kind of working our way through some of that stuff that, I just don't think some of that stuff matters as much. But you have to just adjust to how they're calling the game.
Do you get an impression that will be something that is an emphasis the whole year?
Oh yeah, I think this is how they're gonna call it all year long. We just gotta make those adjustments.
How do you hope to fit Bryce back in the rotation, and considering it's been him being his first game, how do you handle that?
I think I would love to have had Bryce for both exhibitions. I only had him for a half. So he's only played a half of basketball in our first 6 halves. What a tough half to try to play him against Colorado in his first college game. But he'll play, and he'll be fine. He's a freshman. He'll make he'll have some coverage breakdowns. He'll have some, more than anything, probably coverage breakdowns. We're trying to press, going through a scouting report, say this, that, the other thing, and he'll get this and that, but he'll forget about the other thing. And so that's just being young.
Bruce, how did?
It's good to have him back.
I'm sorry.
That's
How,
right.
how did TJ Lang at least respond to playing that many minutes? Because I think on Tiger Talk last week you said you wanted to limit him to maybe 20, and obviously you mentioned he played more than that. I mean, did you have to kind
TJ
of?
Dunnins or?
No, Lang.
How
Because
many
he
minutes
was.
did Lang want to play him? I don't think he wanted to play him more than 20, just
did-
because of his foul trouble. My guess.
But would he have played more if not for the foul trouble?
I think Lang could. I think he would have played more. Yeah. Yes, he would have played more.
I just didn't know like maybe how his knee responded, just because he was maybe trying to.
He's not 100%.
Yeah.
He's good. He's good. I
Mhm.
mean, and the other thing too about playing at 100% is nobody does that anymore, anyways.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody's kind of banged up and whatever. But it's just great to have TJ Lang back, and when you talk about, just for example, how you guard, it really takes 5 people to guard. Offensively, if you got 1 or 2 guys in the wrong spot, it hurts your spacing, but players can still make plays. But defensively, if you get 1 guy in the wrong spot in ball screen coverage, then you're going to have a breakdown. And so our job is to get them in the right spots, and then it's their job to make plays. And so when you only return fouls for scholarship players, we're not in the right spots yet. And it's just going to take us a while to get there. It just will. And so that's what you get more defensive breakdowns than you would offensive.
When you looked at the film of the Iowa State game, is Iowa State a very talented team like they were last year?
Picked 7th in the country.
Yeah.
Almost everybody back except their coach. Great coach now in Steve Prom, and probably better defensively than they were a year ago. We got a good scouting report of them defensively, but you're talking about Iowa State being a team that will challenge Kansas for the Big 12 championship, and they'll be right there. Although ironically, it was an Iowa State team that did lose to UAB in the NCAA tournament, and we were you know, to beat UAB. So it's an interesting one. I'm just having a hard time getting past that 90-59. That's a big number. What did I say? How many touchdowns is that? That's 4 touchdowns and a field goal? That's a big number.
Bruce, when you try to work that triangle of Horace and Tyler and Sim, you know, will there be a lot of offense or defense substitutions late in the game? Can you foresee that? Just
Well, you know, Horace is defensively better than he is offensively. Sim is better offensively than he is defensively. So yeah, I could see some offensive and defensive substitution. Very interestingly, on the last play against UAB, we had some discussion amongst the staff about putting Sim back in there. 10 seconds left to go, switch everything, you know. And Sim can't guard the perimeter. He can't. And I didn't go with it because I went with Horace, just because, please, Horace could have broke us down just as easily as he could have made a play. But whether it was going to be change something at the rim, get a rebound, didn't anticipate he was going to block a shot to help win the game. But yes, I mean, look, Horace Spencer, a freshman, was in the game in the last possession with it all on the line. That was an offensive defensive call.
Anybody else? Maybe one thing, could you